Let's talk about divorce being a social issue. The term divorce is derived from the Latin word divortium, which means separation. On the other hand, divort or divertir, word D means apart and vertir means to turn in different directions. Divertir can also mean to divert, turn aside, separate, or leave one's husband. The word first appeared in French vocabulary in the late 14th century and then in Middle English between 1350s and 1400s. Divorce is a legal procedure used to dissolve a marriage between two people who are already married. It is also known as dissolution of marriage, and it is essentially the legal action that ends the marriage before either spouse dies. The court must decide how to handle the issues of custody and placement of minor children, if the married couple has any, as well as how to divide the parties' property and debts. Divorce can have an impact on one's well-being, with many people experiencing depression, loneliness and isolation, self-esteem issues, or other psychological distress. A brief history of divorce in the Philippines. Divorce was permitted in the Philippines during the Japanese and American occupations, and it dates back to the pre-colonial period when several ethno-linguistic groups practiced absolute divorce. Divorce laws in the country were not repealed until 1950, when the Civil Code went into effect, with the exception of Republic Act 394, which allowed absolute divorce for Muslims who had lived in the country's non-Christian provinces for more than 20 years. The Civil Code only allowed for legal separation and relative divorce. In the case of a mixed marriage between a Filipino and a foreign national, the foreign national's divorce is recognized by Philippine law and allows both parties to remarry. Divorce began during the pre-Spanish colonial period, prior to 1521, but it became more common during the Spanish rule, from 1521 to 1898. Absolute divorce was prohibited under the Spanish Civil Code, and only relative divorce, or what is known in today's family code as legal separation, was permitted. However, under American colonial rule, absolute divorce was permitted from 1898 to 1941. On March 11, 1917, the Philippine legislature passed Act No. 2710, which authorized absolute divorce based on a criminal conviction for adultery on the part of the wife, or concubinage on the part of the husband. Lastly, the Family Code of the Philippines from 1988 to the present was one of the first revolutionary laws enacted by executive order. Executive Order No. 109, also known as the Philippine Family Code, was issued on July 6, 1987 and went into effect on August 3, 1988. It permitted the filing of a petition for declaration of nullity based on psychological incapacity. The Philippines is one of only two countries in the world, along with the Vatican, that does not allow divorce as a way to end a marriage. On March 19, 2018, the House of Representatives passed a third and final reading of House Bill 7303, also known as an act instituting absolute divorce and dissolution of marriage in the Philippines. Under the bill, absolute divorce may be granted on the same grounds as legal separation and annulment, in addition to the following: separation of the spouses for at least 5 years at the time the petition for divorce is filed, gender reassignment surgery, or transitions from one sex to another by one of the spouses, irreconcilable marital differences, domestic or marital abuse, a divorce decree obtained abroad by one of the spouses. Significance of divorce in the Philippines. The Philippines is known for being a very conservative country, and its people are very religious. A lot of citizens want to ensure the sacredness of marriage in the country because divorce is stigmatized. Others believe that allowing divorce will have a significant impact on the value of marriage. However, in recent years, an increasing number of people have become more open to the idea of divorce and its benefits. These individuals believe that everyone has the right to leave a marriage if they are dissatisfied and unhappy, not to mention the countless cases in which people have been left to suffer in marriages. Some have been abused both mentally and physically. Unfortunately, not all marriages have the happy endings we imagine. Divorce does not violate the sanctity of marriage in the Philippines, but rather provides a more accessible option for Filipino couples if their marriage fails. It ends a marriage on the basis of an event that occurred during the marriage, rendering the marital relationship untenable, regardless of the spouse's psychological condition. Divorce would benefit everyone regardless of gender, age, or socioeconomic status. A divorce law will provide a simple solution to a marital failure. It will benefit Filipinos everywhere. It is currently unknown when divorce will be legalized in the Philippines. There is nothing wrong with valuing marriage because it should be valued whether divorce is practiced in a particular location or not. Would Aristotle support or oppose divorce? The basic principle of Aristotle's virtue ethics is that a virtuous person is one who uses his or her reasoning ability to determine what will lead him or her to happiness. He argued that the institution of marriage could provide stability to the state because it will allow men and women to coexist peacefully. Changes that tend to limit divorce are advocated, and it is because of this advocacy that we believe a thorough examination of the foundations of marriage should be conducted in order to adjust the law to meet psychological, sociological, and ethical needs. Aristotle was opposed to the state taking control of marriage and procreation. According to Aristotle, this harmony was achieved because marriage allowed men and women to exist in their natural roles. Unfortunately, he defined natural as men commanding the household and ruling over women. The courage of a man is shown in commanding, the courage of a woman in obeying, he argued. Aristotle shifted the emphasis from Plato's state-centered vision of marriage to the more family-centered perspective that we are familiar with today. He asserted that if people were happily married and content in their natural roles, the state would flourish naturally.